Austin and Bastrop this afternoon when it was struck by a train. The Hoffmans were both retired teachers at Lockhart ISD.
Several hospitals in Biloxi are taking care of injured passengers right now. They don't believe any of them will be discharged overnight. Police have yet to identify any of the victims.
We've got crews around Central Texas working to get the latest information here. First, let's go to CBS Austin's Melanie Torrey in Bastrop.
Mel, we still don't know if any of the victims belong to the Bastrop Senior Center.
That's right, Hema. We just learned that the coroner in Mississippi is not releasing any of that information to Bastrop County officials tonight, but we do know 27 of the people on that bus were from the Bastrop Senior Center, and then about 20 others were from the surrounding Austin area and Sealy. That's a city just west of Houston. This is part of a 7-day tour of Biloxi and New Orleans. The trip started on Sunday. Today, the group was scheduled to visit a Biloxi casino when the tour bus they were on stopped on train tracks and was hit by a train. This is a very tight-knit community, and right now they're asking for patience and prayers.
My heart goes out to those folks to know that there was nothing they could do. You know, they did what they could, and so, you know, prayers for them and prayers for their families, their recovery, and just asking the community to work with us, give us time to get things together and to heal.
We're told when the bus driver saw the train coming, they did open the doors, letting some people off before impact. Many of the injuries reported have been lacerations as well as broken bones, arms, legs, and ribs. Bastrop County officials tell us they expect to have more information for the community tomorrow. Reporting live in Bastrop, Melanie Torrey, CBS Austin News.
The NTSB sent out a team to investigate just before 4 this afternoon. They're not expected to arrive until tomorrow morning. Some of the things they'll be looking into in the coming days include the weather at the time of the accident and human performance. Their team is made up of locomotive engineers, signal system specialists, and track engineers. We'll expect at least one update per day during the investigation by the NTSB. Their first update is expected at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
And new tonight, we are also hearing about a separate incident involving a CSX train in New York. CBS News New York reports a CSX freight train derailed this afternoon. 2 people on the train crew were injured and are expected to be okay. The train was carrying sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide, but thankfully the tankers did not leak.
Picks up our team coverage now. Adam, we're finding out the company that owns the bus carrying the passengers has had trouble in its past.
Yeah, but the company was actually flagged for intervention by a federal agency. Now I'm here at the Randalls in South Austin off Ben White Boulevard. This is actually where the bus tour started, went from here to Bastrop, and then of course to Mississippi. Now that company has had 24 violations in the past 2 years, one of them including an operator texting while driving. As investigators look and know why this crash happened, some in Central Texas remain horrified.
It is an utter and absolute tragedy.
For attorney Brad Bonilla, the first thing he did was look at the history of the tour bus company, Echo Transportation.
That's something that's generally very rare.
Laying out a report from the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Administration, he shows the company has had 24 violations in the past 2 years. Some from operators, including texting while driving and not having a valid license.
This person is at risk of creating another collision and possibly injuring or killing people in the future.
It's also had 6 crashes in 2 years before Tuesday, with 1 injury. And it passes the intervention threshold, which means if Echo doesn't fix things,
The FMCSA is going to help them take that action for them.
But similar Texas bus companies meet the same threshold and have more violations with less buses in service. But a history doesn't make them liable for this crash. Echo Transportation told CBS Austin it's launching an investigation, but has not released any more information. A witness says the bus could have been stuck on the tracks for 10 minutes. And Bonilla says Echo Transportation could face consequences.
I mean, the legal liability for something like this is tremendous.
When you look at that federal report, you can actually see the license plate number of the bus involved in that crash. When we looked that up, it actually did have an inspection in the past few weeks, and there were no violations. And we did put a link up to this report online at cbsaustin.com. Now reporting live in South Austin, Adam Hammonds.
Thanks, Adam. Help poured in from all over Fort Biloxi, surrounding counties and Mississippi, even as far as Louisiana.
Now the city is trying to deal with this tragedy. Muriel Bailey reports from Merritt Health Hospital in Biloxi.
That's the moment I seen the train, I knew it wasn't going to end well.
Craig Robinson says he was outside his grandparents' house when he heard a train coming and noticed a charter bus was stuck on the tracks.
So I was running and trying to tell him, give up trying to move the bus, get them off.
He says the driver was trying to get the bus across.
I guess he felt as if he could get it off, and he couldn't. I knew he couldn't because I've seen multiple vehicles get hung up on that track.
Robinson says moments later, the train hit.
It was loud. It was definitely something to be that close and see it happen, because it all seemed like it had happened slow motion. When it had happened, it was seemed like it was real slow, but then it sped up when the sound had hit.
The 49 passengers on the bus were from the Bastrop Senior Center in Texas. Officials say 4 died, 3 at the scene, 1 at the hospital. 35 were taken to the hospital with injuries. The others were not injured.
Terrible tragedy. Our hearts go out to all the families involved. Please say a prayer for the families. They're going to have a hard time in the future.
People who live in the area say cars have gotten stuck on the tracks in this same area before.
This is a bad crossing, and I don't know why it hasn't been corrected. It's flat on the south side, but the north side you got to drop.
And while that's a question that lingers, many are trying to process such a tragic loss.
It's just devastating for the community, the families that have to hear of the death of their loved ones. I just feel for all of them.
That was Muriel Bailey reporting tonight. We're told that the survivors will be staying and getting help in a casino for the night. Our team here in Mississippi continue to dig for more information in this tragedy overnight. As soon as anything develops, we'll tell you about it on CBSAustin.com and on CBS Austin this morning starting at 4:30 a.m.